Diego Barajas Medina, 20 years of age, was found dead in a women's bathroom at the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park last Saturday morning before it opened to the public. He was heavily armed and he had planned to shoot up the mountaintop amusement park in Colorado, but thankfully, before starting that horrendous act that he had planned, he decided to unlife himself. I'm using the term unlife because YouTube is a little bit sensitive. So again, this happened last Saturday morning. The 20-year-old Diego Barajas Medina entered the amusement park whilst it was closed. He was armed with an AR-style rifle, a semi-automatic handgun, and he had explosives. He was wearing body armor and tactical clothing. His appearance was very much that of a police SWAT member, and again, he was found in a bathroom within the amusement park, dead. On the wall of the bathroom, he had written, "I am not a killer, I just want to get into the caves." Well, seemingly, that's technically right. He's not a killer. He unlived himself. He did not kill or indeed injure or maim any of the visitors at the amusement park, but it does seem clear that it is what he planned to do. It just so happens that an angel appeared, or you can use your own terminology, but something thankfully stopped this man, 20 years of age, Diego Barajas Medina, from enacting what he had clearly planned and prepared for. There he was, wearing body armor, tactical clothing. He had an AR-style rifle, a semi-automatic handgun. He had explosives. This was a planned attack. Thankfully, he changed his mind before he enacted any of the plan. We don't know too much about Diego Barajas Medina, but we do know that he's from a nearby town of Carbondale. He lived with his mother and his brother. He had no known criminal history, no prior encounters with the police. A search of his room at his home found nothing to indicate explosives, although explosives were found in his vehicle parked at the amusement park. The weapons that were found on him were ghost guns. They didn't have serial numbers. They couldn't be traced. So it is a little confusing, a lack of clues, but there he was, found in tactical gear, having taken his own life. A planned attack, a planned massacre, but he arrived when nobody was there. There were no visitors at that time. Odd. Very, very odd. What can we learn from this? I'm not sure. Some people will point to gun control, access to explosives, access to grenades. Seemingly he had some grenades, although some were fake. So some people will ask, well, hang on, why is it so easy to get guns and tactical equipment, body armor, and all of this kind of thing in the state of Colorado? Perhaps the laws should be tightened. My answer to that is, you guys have got way too many guns in America and you need to protect yourself. This guy had ghost guns. We don't know if they were legally obtained or illegally obtained. I presume illegally obtained. So if your criminals are out there with guns, it seems fully appropriate to me to allow your law-abiding citizens to have guns. That's my take on it. You don't have to agree with it, but I do have reasoning there. You can't deny that. Is this an act of domestic terrorism? Well, it appears that it would have been. We're not told of any agenda that this guy had. We're not told of his politics. There's no mention of social media posting, so we don't know if this was racially motivated in any sense. We don't have that information. Perhaps that information will come to light, but it certainly hasn't come to light as of the reading through this article. Can we point to mental health issues? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I assume so. I think you'd have to be a bona fide nutbag to try to enact a massacre. You'd have to be a bit silly to try to enact a massacre when nobody's there as well. I mean, maybe that's what happened. He planned this out meticulously, and then somehow he arrived at a time when no one was there. And he thought, you know what, I'm not cut out for this. I guess it's more likely that he arrived when the park was closed so he could get prepared. Wait until more people were at the amusement park and then enact his horrific plan. But again, thankfully, that didn't come to pass. He changed his mind. We have to be thankful for that. But was mental illness at play? We're not told of any mental health history of this guy. There's no mention of him being diagnosed with schizophrenia or bipolar disease or anything of the sort. There's no mention of him having been indoctrinated with this ideology or another. So we really don't know. Again, perhaps more information will come out to light. But this article was published, let's say, a week ago. I've been slow to get around to cover it, and I've not seen an article in relation to this subject since. So this does seem to be yet another case that's been brushed under the carpet. Sure, articles came out about it at the time. We get a smidgen of information and then it's to be forgotten about. Perhaps that's normal. Perhaps that's to be expected. A lot of incidences do occur in the course of a week. Thankfully, this was not a massacre. Perhaps if it was a massacre, we'd hear a lot more about it, but it wasn't. So perhaps there's some justification in the media moving on, not really covering the subject too much, giving it a cursory glance and then skipping away. Perhaps that's to be expected, but at the same time, I feel that there's perhaps lessons to be learned here, and we're not going to learn them if the subject isn't looked at. Of course, an investigation will continue. Perhaps more information will come to light. Perhaps that will be released to the public, but I don't think it will be in a very very effective way. So that's what we have. Some guy, a 20-year-old, Diego Barajas Medina, planned a massacre to take place in an amusement park, the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park, but thankfully he changed his mind. Why? We don't know, but he took his own life and saved the visitors of the adventure park, which is a blessing. So I'll wrap things up at this point. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. If you're in a position to consider joining my memberships, please do consider that, but it's okay if you're not able to. I'll thank you for your time and take care.